Hello, artists. It's Mrs. Castle, and we're going to talk about using the acrylic tools to um, use them and color and value to make things look like they're going back into the distance, like this grassy area over here. Oops. I've used a couple of things in this area to help show distance, and the first thing is color, and going from bright color down at the bottom to grayer color to a mix of kind of the green and the very neutral gray, and the size of the marks. Up here they're much smaller and get a little bit bigger, and then the largest size that I used. All of that helps create distance. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the color part, and I'll show you how to use a couple of tools along the way. Okay, so the first thing I want you to notice is that if I turn that layer off, I have my basic drawing that I started with. That is in this layer that's highlighted blue. Notice the little lock right there. Actually, nope, that doesn't get bigger with the, if you enlarge. Learn something new every day. Okay, so I have that locked. The little lock is right there, right above my little cursor thing, my home button, and I can't do anything on this layer. I've chosen a tool and I'm moving my finger around and it doesn't change anything. So I'm going to go back to this layer and I'm going to unhide it. I'm touching the eyeball. If it has the little slash through it, you can't see it. If you can see the full eyeball, then it's not, then we can see it. So make your best effort to not add color in the very bottom layer where your drawing is. Your original drawing with your life almost. That way, if you mess up, you don't have to redraw it over again. Okay, so I'm going to continue drawing or adding color, and I'm going to go to my color picker. Where I found my original colors was on the Copic color chart. These are colors that they use in the markers made by the company Copic. And they're like the big hotsy-totsy markers that like graphic artists use and people like that. And I started with a color like G28 or G29. We want a very muted color and a very cool color. And we can tell that G29 and G28 are very cool colors because the complement is on the red side. The complement is very, very red. It's almost brown, but it's a red. Because this color, G29 and G28 are very, very blue. They're green, but they're a bluer green. And we can tell that because the complement is kind of a red. Okay, so I want to use the same colors over here in this grassy area that I used in this grassy area. So I'm going to go back to the color. I just clicked on the word color and I've got my color picker. I'm going to land on a color with the little crosshair, and now I'm drawing with that color. So I am going to switch tools because that's my tattoo inker and that one's not allowed. I'm going to switch to a synthetic paintbrush. I forget which one it was. Not that one. Okay, we'll go with that one. I'm not sure it's the same, but and to make sure I get the same one again, I'm going to drag it over to my menu on the side. Okay. All right, so I'm going to make my brush size pretty small because I'm far away, or I want to do the part that's far away. And we can enlarge this a little bit to see a little bit better. I'm just going to make my brush marks. I'm making my brush marks kind of short because as I paint with that, it's like I'm using up the paint that's on my brush and I have to dip again. So we're going to get rid of those, and I'm going to, and we don't need a whole lot of this, just kind of along the horizon line and a little bit below because we want to blend a little bit. You don't want to come down very far because that's pretty far away. I'm not going to do all that area all the time. Okay, so I'm ready for a new color. I'm going to get my color picker and I'm going to get that neutral color and I'm going to kind of layer that. That's the same color. Get that one that's a little bit greener. I'm going to blend that in. And come down a little bit farther because we're going to blend. Things are very inexact in nature, so we want to try to avoid making solid lines that divide colors. So we're going to kind of somewhat randomly mix it in. Okay, I said I wasn't going to do all of that, so I gotta keep to my word. Okay, I'm going to come down a little bit farther just so I get a nice blend. And I'm making pretty small marks. And they're going to look smaller because I've enlarged pretty much. See how much smaller they look when I push, when I go put it back to almost its original size. Okay, so I'm going to get a new color. I'm going to get a color that's a little bit greener. I'm going to enlarge again. And I'm going to start up a little bit into what I did before and overlap. And I'm still making pretty small marks. I'm going to bring that down about here. And part of my food items that I did for my food for thought, my trees are carrots, which we'll talk about later. Okay, I'm going to go back and get some of that darker green and layer it. Oops, I don't think I got the right green. Color picker. Doesn't look like right green. I got a little bit lighter, which is okay. Okay, I'm going to come down a little bit more with some of that darker, more neutral green. And then color picker, and I'm going to come over, oops, got to be careful with the color picker. I'm going to get one of those lighter greens and mix that in kind of randomly. About here, I think, yeah, I'm going to make my brush just a little bit bigger because we're getting closer. Color picker. And I'm going to go for a new color. Looks about the same. So another new color. And scatter some in randomly. And you don't have to do it exactly this way. You use the brushes that you like. And I just wanted a textury thing. And oh boy, a lot to go. And you make it so that you're happy with it. But if you're going to do the color and value thing, you need to make sure, start with a neutral far away or a more neutral color than your brighter colors. And using complements is a great way to do that. Or a color that's very, very grayed. Okay, time for a new green. and put little touches up a little bit higher. I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. As I'm very close now. I'm really close to the bottom edge of the paper. And when I start up and go down, I get kind of a grassy feel, and my color start higher and work down, and that kind of builds my texture up so it is more like grass. And then I need my brighter color. I'm going to blend some in randomly. And I did put some dark in there, and then I kind of used a brush to blend it around, because it's, you know, there are shadows under there. It's not all bright green grass. There are some shadows. So I'm going to go back to that green, blend it a little bit, and I'm going to get my brightest green and blend that on top a little bit. I like those little tiny touches of dark. In there to kind of help shadow, you know, make some shadows. Okay, so that's the basic idea. For my road, I would do something similar, but before I start on my road, I am going to add a layer above, and then I would do my road. I am going to go to my Copic markers. I'm going to get the grays. These are cool grays, these are warm grays. The farther something is away, like the cooler it's going to be. So I'm going to start with a very cool gray, and I want too big. Need to make my brush small, and I think I'm going to try another brush. Library, synthetic brushes. Okay, I need to make that way smaller. Because I'm doing details. Okay, I'm going to switch to a slightly darker. And I have another food item planned for the lines in the road. I think that's a smudge brush. Yeah, smudge pen. Oops, I gotta make that smaller. just going to blend my C3 into my C4, or my C4 into my C3. And then I'm going to go back to my brush. I was using that one. I'm going to switch colors. Oops. That's a little too big. As I get closer, I can switch, I can enlarge my tools some. I'm only going to do one. Oops. Make sure you have a solid grab on the screen before you move. Now, one of the good things about acrylic in this program and in real life is that the acrylic colors will cover over other things with certain exceptions. In real life, well, if you're doing this, you aren't worried about real life. But yellow tends to be very, very transparent. So it doesn't cover very well on its own. It needs some help from some white. I'm going to kind of, a lot of roads are not exactly perfectly straight. I'm going to fill in some of those little spots, white spots. Get a little darker. Get a little bit bigger. Next darkest. Might not make it all the way to black, but that's okay. Okay. Let's go darkest gray just right there at the bottom. Alright, so back to our smudge pen, and I'm going to use that to blend it wasn't doing very much because it was rather small. And it's not smudging the green because my green is in a lower layer. You can smudge lightly if you like some of that texture. So that's kind of the idea with the road and the grass. And you get the size of the road and the combination of the lighter, the grayer colors farther away really helps your space look like it's going back. So I'm sorry this is kind of long, but I hope it helps you understand and see what the acrylic tools can do for you, and using color and value to make things look far away. Thanks for watching.